Some of you may be forced to buy the internal filtration system, which is our Expanse or our Compact. If you had to buy an upper end filtration system, you would have bought one directly from me that it was a BOFA. But with those systems, you're going to have to put on your maintenance schedule to check the filters every month to 90 days. Most of them will tell you when they need to have the filters changed, but they hook up pretty much the same way and have pretty much the same power draw. Now, a lot of times I will take and put the exhaust blower on the inside, suck that, and then go directly into the unit. So with the internal one, I'll put the exhaust blower in between, and I'll put the internal unit right here. Don't have to do that. Some of them have enough CFMs, but if you don't, that's the way to do it. So with the plugging, obviously you're going to have an Ethernet cable and a USB cable hooked to the side of the unit. I would hook up both of them, and I would also check to make sure all the wires are not where you can trip on them. Then I would open up the unit. I would check the inside of the board stack where the controller board and the 3 drivers boards are. Take a picture of that. That way, if a wire ever comes loose 3 years from now, you know exactly where to put it. But realize all those wires have been tin and shielded, and all of those installations on the wires have been labeled to where it goes on the controller board and the driver boards, and they are printed on the controller board on what plugs go where. So it's very hard to mess up. I do a re-inspection of the tube with it unplugged, making sure the connection for the red line is firm. Again, do not overcrank it. It's a glass tube, you'll crack it. You got the ground on the other end, and then make sure that the tube is in there completely parallel, hitting the first mirror directly on. It'll be very obvious if it's not parallel. You'll see it. But then there's screws that clamp the unit down. Just check those a little taut. Like I say, don't overcrank them. You'll crack the tube. Then inspect all the optics. Make sure that they're firm. Don't mess with the thumb screws that are on the mirrors, but the stanchion screws and all that, just make sure that they're firm and not loose. This is important because if they are loose, you'll never get the darn thing to come into play. So this shows the ground end. That's a black wire. The opposite end is the red wire. Red wire will be behind a red cap and behind a electric sleeve. So you slide the electric sleeve back, pop the red cap, check the tightness, put the red cap back on there, put the sleeve back on there. You do have a combiner lens between this and the first mirror. What I'm talking about here is these stanchions. Leave these screws here alone. Those are going to be touched when you check your beam aligner.